welcome to It Happened in Grand Prairie, Texas. We're so pleased that you're in our viewing audience so that you can view in the original way our history tape number 633. And we're delighted today because we have a very special presentation of Girls of the Year. And these beautiful girls are here today to tell about some of the good things that have happened to them, but nothing about bad things that ever happened. We don't discuss that on television. And I would like for you to know that the Seroptimus Club of Grand Prairie, Texas, called the Seroptimus International of Grand Prairie officially, is the club that sponsors the scholarship for the Girls of the Year. And not only that, each month the Girls of the Month are honored at the Seroptimus House under the direction of the president, Doris Ford, and under the direction of the chairman of the Girls of the Month and Girls of the Year, Angela Gessner. And they could not be with us today, but we're so pleased to have the two girls, and we're just going to let you have fun hearing about some of the things that have happened to these girls during their tenure as Girl of the Year. And it's my pleasure now, first of all, to bring to you Catherine Sue Sieber.
Yes.
Catherine. How do you do, Miss Catherine?
Great. How are you?
Just glad to have you on the show today. It's wonderful.
Glad to be here.
Yes, and we also have Courtney Lay Calvert. Courtney, it's wonderful to have you with us.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
South Grand Prairie High and Grand Prairie High School.
Yep.
And good friends too.
Yeah.
Isn't that wonderful? We just mix all sorts of blue and red blood, don't we, in Grand Prairie, Texas?
Sure
And
do.
have fun in the Gopher Warrior Bowl and know that y'all are just really, really special. Isn't it exciting to know that out of all of the girls at South Grand Prairie High and Grand Prairie High School in the senior class, you two are it. Isn't it wonderful to be it? Just think of all the power that goes with being it, and of all of the jealousies that are probably in other arenas, but that's all right. We would not be quite as happy if we weren't selected, would we? It's wonderful.
Right.
Well, I think I'm going to begin with Miss Catherine, with your permission then, and let's find out a little bit about her before I get around to talking with Miss Courtney. Now, Catherine, I'd like for you to give me the name of your parents, first of all.
My mom's Cindy, my dad Steve, and my brother Kyle.
And Kyle is your brother. The only sibling you have is
Yeah.
Kyle. Is he younger?
No, he's 21.
He's 21.
Yep.
Oh, he set the stage for you then at Grand Prairie High
Yeah,
School,
he
didn't he? That is wonderful. That is just superior. And what do your parents do?
My mom works for American Airlines. She does vacation stuff on the computer for
Yeah.
different resorts and stuff.
Yeah?
And my dad is the maintenance manager at a Walmart distribution center.
Oh, that is exciting. Oh, that is a fun thing.
Yeah.
Aren't you glad your dad's involved in that and your mother supplements it and then you get to have fun too?
Yeah.
That is wonderful. Well, next I'd like to know probably about the basics. First of all, the first school that you attended, whether it was kindergarten or preschool or whatever, we'd like for you to talk about that just a little bit. And of that place where you were, the most important person at either your kindergarten or preschool that really caught your eye because they favored you and have made you want to be successful?
Well, I went to Eisenhower.
Eisenhower Elementary.
Elementary, yep. In first grade, I had Miss Sanders, and she's probably been one of my favorite teachers throughout the whole thing. And I liked it because I had my own box of reading. That's when we started reading like the small books, like picture books.
Yes.
And I had my own little box that was, I guess, kind of like a novel, like a
Yes.
small novel, and I felt special because I had my own box of the bigger
Yes.
books and not picture books.
Yes. Oh, wasn't that wonderful? That was just super. And at Eisenhower, were there any special traits that you picked up that you wanted to be a singer, dancer, or maybe an author or a school teacher or whatever? Or had you even thought about the future?
I hadn't even thought of it then. I was just enjoying.
You loved Eisenhower. Oh,
Most of my friends are still my friends that I met at
that you
Eisenhower.
had at Eisenhower.
Yep.
Okay, and after Eisenhower, I know that you went right on up the ladder, and your middle school was?
Adams Middle School.
Oh, is that Leopards?
Panthers.
Panthers. I knew there were a black group.
Close enough.
Okay. But for Adams Middle School, now when you got to that school, it was a feeder school from 2 or 3 other elementaries, and you had to make some new friends. How did you fare on that?
I have a lot of friends from middle school too.
Oh, you do?
The same ones that we met the first day of 6th grade.
And at the 6th grade, when you got into Adams, were you a little apprehensive, or were you just real cool and just went on down the line and had fun? And who was your homeroom?
I don't even remember who my homeroom was.
Okay.
I was excited for it to meet a lot more people and
Yeah.
more classes, harder classes, because you could start taking like the pre-AP
Yes.
classes. So I was excited about that. And I just did well, I guess.
And at Adams, the most favorite of all of your teachers that inspired you the most, or made you feel such a wonderful part of this that you really did want to get out of there?
Probably Miss Smith, my English teacher. She was also my volleyball and track coach too.
Yes.
So I got to see a lot of her.
And that's when you got vaccinated with the volleyball business, right? Yes. And that coach's name?
Coach Smith.
Coach Smith. That's
I forgot her
wonderful.
first name.
That is good.
Yeah.
That is wonderful. And after 3 years there, you stayed all 3 years.
Yep.
Yes. And
Went on to the 9th grade center.
went on to the 9th grade center, that new center that they had built there.
It's really nice.
Very good. And when you got to the 9th grade center, it wasn't quite as bad in the changes of the people that were going there. 'Cause
Right.
you were all 9th graders, and you knew you were almost always equal on that.
Yeah.
Until you made your play, right? All right. And at the 9th grade center, favorite teacher, that 1 year has to be spectacular as a freshman, and it's called a 9th grade center, but you're getting your feet wet, getting ready to go to the big deal of the day over at Gopherland. So tell me a little bit about that 9th grade year.
It was different. It was a lot of people that I knew from playing against them in sports in middle school, and so it was kind of, I don't like you because you go to this school, but we ended up, I have a lot of friends that were from our rival schools.
Yes.
Still.
That's good. And were you still into volleyball?
I played freshman and sophomore year.
Freshman and sophomore year in volleyball. Very addictive, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
I enjoyed it.
I have a granddaughter that went from Gopherland all the way through DBU on a volleyball scholarship, and isn't that fun stuff if you can do all of that? Yes. Well, 9th grade center, you're prepared, you think, until you go over to the big deal of the day into Gopherland. Tell me about your first year at Gopherland.
School's big
It
for
is
a
big.
sophomore.
You'll get lost in the corridors, won't you?
I remember the first day I had a class in the 900 hall, and it was the 3rd story.
Yeah.
I didn't know where I was going because there's only 2 entrances up there, and so I was like wandering around. And one of my friends from volleyball was like, "The stairs are right here." I was like, "Oh, my bad."
Excellent.
Yeah, it's interesting. It was
First
big.
year there was kind of iffy, but then you became acclimated rather quickly, didn't you? Who was your principal at that time? Mr. Berry?
No, Miss Brenner was
Miss Brenner?
for my sophomore year, and then it went to Mr. Showell.
Mr. Showell.
Yep.
That is good. I've got a little note from Mr. Showell down here about you, yes.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. It gets real critical when we get to the Girl of the Year. He answers all of the questions and everything. All right. At favorite teacher, favorite sport, favorite elective, anything that you want to pick out your favorite 2 or 3 teachers that you want to talk about, or you want to just pick one?
My physics teacher this year was really cool. Mr. Wright.
Yes.
He's young, so he knows how to interact with the kids.
Yes.
And he knows how to deal with them.
Yes.
And he's really cool.
Did you do any sports in the last 2 years?
I played soccer for all 4 years.
All 4 years soccer?
Yep. And I've had 3 different coaches, and this year Coach Foster is one of the best coaches I've had because he's pushed me to become more of a leader.
Good.
And control the team since I was a captain.
That is wonderful.
Yeah.
That is just super. So, well, what is your favorite other teacher other than sports? Do you have any others that impressed you at all or encouraged you Or were you predominantly sports oriented?
Sports oriented.
Okay.
I hung out with my coaches a lot. Me and my coaches are really close. They're the ones that I went to if I needed anything. So.
And while you were there, you were National Honor Society member. That's pretty good. Great Texas Scholar member. Oh, and isn't that a fun thing? And when you get to go to Lone Star Park and have all of the good fun at the luncheon, that was good. And you put a lot into being a Great Texas Scholar because you have to go to all of these meetings, like to the city council meeting, a school board meeting, and all of these do a cleanup and all these other requirements.
Yep.
And ride a bus out to Lone Star Park and all of this. Yes, that is good.
Yep, it was a lot of fun.
I salute you for being a Great Texas Scholar.
Thank you.
That's one of my favorites of the Chamber of Commerce. Okay, and a student council member. Good. I see varsity soccer, and you were the captain, but you spent 4 years doing that.
Yep.
All the way 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th, and a couple of years over, or 3 years over, all 3 years over at Adams.
Well, we didn't have a middle school
Didn't have
team,
a middle
but
school
I've
team.
played club since I was 11.
Yeah, that's good. All right, that's going to count for us. And first team all district soccer. Oh, that was great. What an experience. Where did you do your playoff?
We didn't even make it to the playoffs.
That's all right.
We've only won like a few games the past 4 years.
Oh, all right. Goalkeeper of the year. Is that in soccer also?
Yes.
That is good. Well, you have a real
two-time goalkeeper.
Now, community service at schools and recreation centers plan to play soccer at McNeese State University in Lake Charles, Louisiana. You're going east of the border of Texas.
I am. It's barely outside.
Barely outside.
So it's not too far.
Yeah. And parents are not concerned about sending you to another state.
No, they're excited for it. They want me to get out.
They're ready for you to go for broke and go get your education. Now, what's after McNeese?
Well, I want to get a exercise science degree, get my bachelor in that, and then hopefully get into physical therapy school.
Physical therapy, and that just plays right along with being a good soccer player, doesn't it? Oh yes, that's wonderful.
Yep.
And do you plan to do that in Louisiana, or do you think you might ever come back to Texas? And
I don't know. It's
all depends.
It's up in the air. Yeah.
That's good. Well, that sounds really wonderful. Now, I would tell you that Joseph Scholl said Catherine is an asset to Grand Prairie High School. She excels in academics. I didn't get that from you, but I got that from him. And the extracurricular activities. She's always willing to lend a helping hand to fellow students and to the GPHS staff. Now that was wonderful. I have not ever had a principal that said the girl of the year or the boy of the year gave a kudo to the staff, and so I thought that was a very unusual thing. So I thought I'd mention that was written by Mr. Scholl, and if you need a copy of this, I might get you a copy of this to put in your archives. But all of that, I thought that was just a wonderful year that you spent, the last year especially at Grand Prairie High School, and to take a young man that has been a new principal there just for a couple of years, and you must have been very impressive.
Yes.
So I'm going to leave you for a few moments. I'll come back and maybe we'll talk a little bit later on. But,
okay.
Oh, it is very time for me to get with Courtney. Miss Courtney, would you name your parents, please?
My parents are Mark and Paula Calvert.
Yes.
And just me and the family.
All right. And would you tell us about Mark and Paula, what they do?
My dad works for the police department here in Grand Prairie, and my mom works for the assistant superintendent at the school district.
And both of them are so involved,
Yeah.
and especially your dad, who has been on this television show as many times almost as I would say that I'm tiny. He has been here. Mark Calvert has been a wonderful, wonderful supporter of Boys and Girls and Toys R Us and all of the good things. So he set a real good example for you, and I know your mom did too.
They both
but
did.
he is very special to the city of Grand Prairie, Texas now. Do you have any siblings?
No, it's just me.
Oh, you are an only child.
I
It is
know.
so wonderful to interview an only child because they're always so pampered and so wonderful. And isn't that good? Yes.
It's nice.
You like it just fine, don't you? That's good. All right. Now, I'd like to know about your schools.
I started off at Colin Powell right when it opened.
Okay.
And I really liked it there. It was a really good environment. I liked all the teachers, and it was a very nice school.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went to Jackson.
You don't get to Jackson. We haven't left Colin Powell yet.
Okay.
We haven't talked about that. In fact, we need to know on your, were you there in kindergarten?
No, I went to a private school in
Oh, I
kindergarten.
tell your private school.
It was First Baptist Church.
And that's such a good one.
It was. It
And
was
that
very
was one
nice.
who was your favorite there?
Probably all of them. Yes, they're all very special.
Yes, that's wonderful. And then from there, then you went on to Powell. And who was your favorite at Powell?
Probably Miss Quate. She was my second grade teacher, and she really got me out of my shell.
Good.
Yeah, I really enjoyed her.
It kind of like being the teacher's pet.
Kind of.
Isn't that good?
It was nice.
Being an only child and teacher's pet in the same lifetime is that's really cool. Okay. And fifth grade, up to the fifth grade.
Yes, ma'am.
Any special subjects that appealed to you then, or?
I really liked math when I was
Okay.
in elementary school.
Oh,
That
okay, I'm going to put that down because a lot of boys put that down, but not quite as many girls. So, okay. I keep a record of all this in case I'm giving a test on it, you know. And after Colin Powell,
I went to Jackson.
went to Jackson Middle School. Leaving Colin Powell because that gave you 5 years to get acquainted with all of the kids at the school. And when you left in the fifth grade, did you feel pretty important because did all of the kids in the fourth, third, second, and first look up to you and say, oh, there goes that fifth grade?
It was pretty cool to see how everyone looks up to
Yes.
fifth graders.
Didn't you feel kind of superior leaving there
I'm sure everyone does.
until you got to your new site,
Yes.
which was Jackson? Jackson Middle School, just on the fringe of the big deal of the day of Warrior Land.
Yes.
All right. When you got there, how impressed were you?
I was kind of scared because most of my friends from Powell went to Truman and I
Yes.
went to Jackson. So I didn't know too many people, but I had a lot of fun there. I really grew into myself, I guess you could say, and
Yes.
made a lot of new friends. It was really nice.
All right. The first year there, was there any significance? Did you feel so welcome? Do you still liked math?
I didn't like math as much, no.
All right. How did we do some changes there?
Math got a lot harder.
Yes.
I liked history in my English classes a lot, which is what I lean towards now, too.
Jackson Middle School had one favorite teacher of all of them that impressed you that for your sake.
Probably be my 7th grade science teacher, Miss Toby.
Yeah.
She was just a lot of fun.
A lot of fun. And taught science in a way that you believed in it, right?
Yeah, she was a very good teacher.
Good, that's right. All right, now, did you feel ready to go over to the big campus then when you left Jackson Middle School?
I did. I think I was ready to move on to bigger things.
Yes. The ninth grade center?
It was different from,
Yes.
new teachers, new atmosphere, but it was fun. I made a lot of new friends, so I had a good time.
And ninth grade center is very exclusive, isn't it?
Yes, it's very by itself.
And you're all fairly even as far as school grade is
Right.
concerned. And it's no competition to the,
The older kids.
yes, You have anything to say for the ninth grade center? Favorite anything?
It was more of like a growing year for me, just learning new things and facing new challenges. So it was interesting.
All right. And when you said goodbye to it, you were glad you were going to get.
Yeah, I was ready.
You was ready to go to the next place till you got to the front door, and then what happened?
I was very excited. It takes you a couple of weeks to get acclimated to the big campus, but I like it a lot. So.
And first thing that you noticed, the changes. What noticed of any changes there? There's a lot more territory to cover.
Yes, it's a lot bigger. You have a little bit more freedom too over there. You know, just more freedom to grow and learn and.
Okay. Well, I'm going to ask you. I'm going to go over some of these things. It said senior class president.
Yes.
They must have been pretty well impressed with you for your 3 years over there. Cheerleading. How long?
All 4 years.
4 years of cheerleading. Okay. Fun.
At times.
A lot of extra pressure.
Yes, a lot of extra
Compounding of your study time.
pressure. Yes. Yeah.
Yes, all right. How about the National Honor? That is good.
Mm-hmm.
That was very good. And the Youth Advisory Council, is that the principal's very special team?
Yes. That was fun.
Yes,
It was really nice to be chosen for that.
yes. And did you go out of the school to any of the elementaries or any other place on assignment, or?
We toured Grand
Just-
Prairie High,
Yeah.
the Gopher Warrior Bowl, and we did a few other different things.
Yeah.
It was nice.
That was good, wonderful. And student empowerment team, that's where you go to the elementaries.
Right.
Do you have a special assignment, any special example that you?
We just try to mentor the kids and
Yes.
teach them, right from wrong and help them out with their everyday life.
Do you feel like a mentor when you're doing that, I hope?
I feel like more of a friend to the kids because
Yes.
I feel like that's what they need, you
Uh-huh.
know. But they look up to you a lot.
Yes.
So it's really nice to see that when they get excited to see you.
And do you see them anywhere after that, maybe passing on the street or in any other arenas other than school?
I haven't seen them outside, no.
Yeah,
Mm-mm.
okay. That was a good question. Student council,
Yes.
yes, representing that. You are on some of the most important ones of the whole world here. And especially being a cheerleader, you are highly sought after as far as all of the public is concerned. That is really great. I have down here, and you tell me if I'm wrong, shopping,
Yes.
hanging out with my mom, that's good. Reading and being with friends. And that reading, that's unusual.
Yeah, I really like to read.
You like to read. Are you the kind of student that reads at night under the covers with a flashlight so your parents won't know that you're awake and reading? I've had some like that on the show, so I just thought I would throw that in. Okay. And First Baptist Youth Group and Choir. I was at your church this last Sunday.
Yes, I saw you.
Yes, doing the mayor's job. The mayor sent me there to make a presentation to your Dr. Scar,
Yes.
who had been there 10 years, and he's a very fine man.
He is.
His wife is darling also, and that was such a wonderful pleasure to that the mayor allowed me to do that last Sunday. Planning to attend Texas A&M Aggieland University
Yes.
and major in,
Education.
yes, like Mom.
Mhm.
Yes, that is good.
I'm very excited.
And that's not to Louisiana, but it's on the way. Y'all sure are going east a lot. That is really good. That looks like an important happening. And let's see. I guess I better read what Vicki Bridges says about you. Courtney is obviously devoted to her studies and will graduate in the top 20% of her class. One of Courtney's greatest strengths lies in her contributions to her school, church, and community. She has devoted hours upon hours to pursuits like the Student Council, where she holds the office of Senior Class President. She has taken a leadership role in a number of clubs and is an integral part of her church's youth group. And it's signed by Vicki Bridges. I have her signature on this, just like I have Mr. Scholl's on this other. And isn't it good that you have made an impression, both of you, on your high school principal? And they're favorable.
Yeah.
That's what makes it even more worthwhile. Now, we've done a lot of talking about some of the things academically and other choices. We have just a few more minutes. I would like to get maybe a little bit of in-depth starting back. I guess we'll ask Courtney while we still have her aboard. Courtney, tell me a little bit about how you have enjoyed your whole trip of education under the Grand Prairie ISD, and do you have a special message to look out into your camera and let the boys and girls know how important it is to do what you've done, to organize your life, your time, and whatever it takes to get you to the place where you are the outstanding girl in all of South Grand Prairie High to become the Girl of the Year. And here's your camera right out here.
I think it's really important to do, what is best for your school and what's best for you and to become involved, because in the end it really pays off and people really appreciate what you do, and you earn a lot of self-respect for everything that you do. It's really important.
That's wonderful. And if they will just clue in on those things, just think what a meaningful life they can have following high school when they go on into the college, where you're really in charge of what you do there.
Yeah.
And if you don't do it, no one does it for you. And there's no one there usually to oversee it other than cutting off the funds. So that's really great. Okay, I guess we better get that back to Miss Catherine. Catherine, the same for you. What do you think?
I think it's important for kids to do what they're supposed to do. I mean, do your work. It makes your life a whole lot easier in school to do what you're supposed to, and it's good to be involved because you, one, get to meet a lot of people, and then you can just be able to help out, and you make a lot of new friendships out of it.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Y'all are just right on target. And what are you going to want to be when you grow up? After you're doing all of these other things and become this therapist or whatever you want to do, is there a future in your life for either family or coming back to Grand Prairie, Texas, or whatever? And you got 1 minute to tell it.
I want to be a physical therapist for athletes, and so I think it'd be fun to come back and come back to Grand Prairie and see what has all changed, like see the kids, the sports here, and maybe able to help them if they're hurt or something.
Good. That's wonderful. Same for you, Miss Courtney.
After college, I really want to be a teacher. I'm not sure where I'll end up. I don't know if I'm going to come back to Grand Prairie or not, but I'm sure I'll come back and visit. And I'm just...
We're counting on that. Yes.
Just going to see where the road takes me.
Well, wonderful. Well, congratulations to both of you all. You both already have your Grand Prairie lapel pins. So you know that they can't get you out of jail, but that does give you cookie privileges if you happen to get there. We want to thank you all so very much for being the stars of Seroptimist and the stars of both of your schools as the outstanding Girl of the Year. And it's congratulations.
Thank you.
And God bless
Thank
you
you.
both and wherever you go and whatever you do. It's been our honor to interview you today.
Thank you.
And this is Ruthie Jackson reminding you that history is as we live and do, and that we document it as correctly as possible. And we have a good start here with these two young ladies. And thank you for watching our show, and come back to see us next week.